So let's begin class today in a seated position on your mat. Sure. So starting in a comfortable seat, you can elevate the hips by sitting on a pillow or a block or anything you have around you. The shins can be stacked in front of each other. The ankles can be crossed. You can be sitting on the ankles, just the legs can be outstretched, however you can just find some comfort. And maybe just grabbing the flesh of the sit bones and tugging them back a bit, just so that you can feel the sit bones rooting into the earth. And then when you arrive, allow your eyes to close. And take a nice cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. And release it all through the mouth. Allow the shoulders to drop. Allow the heart to lift and the chin to fall toward the heart. Feel the back of your neck get long as the crown of your head lifts a bit higher. Tailbone tucking down toward the earth, finding more length in the low back. Automatically drawing the navel in toward the spine. Relax your forehead. And relax the forehead a little bit more. Release any tension in the eyebrows, in the eyelids. Allow your jaw to hang heavy, letting your cheeks relax. And just start to notice your breath. Noticing the natural rise and fall of your own breaths in this moment. I'm not changing anything, just accepting how it is right now. Noticing where the breath is traveling to. And then start to send your breath into the belly. Feeling your low, middle, and upper belly expanding like a balloon as you breathe in. And then falling the upper, middle, and lower belly as you breathe out. Breathe deep into the belly. And let the belly go. Once more, just like that. Inhale, fill up your belly. Exhale and release. Now bring your right hand to your left rib cage and your left hand over to the right rib cage. And as you breathe in now, fill up your hands. So your hands are on the sides of the body like this. So imagine your breath going right into your hands. So feeling the sides of your lungs and your ribs fill up. Expanding outward. Exhaling to release. Let's do twice more like that. Inhale into the ribs. Exhale to release. Once more. And let it go. And now bring both your hands to your chest or to your heart center. Breathe into the hands here. Feel your whole chest broaden, expand as you inhale. And fall as you exhale. Twice more. One last time. Now just bring both hands to your head. Breathe into the hands again. Envision the air just traveling into the hands, filling up the head. Twice more. And then releasing the hands. And let's bring them both to the belly this time. Breathing into the belly one more time, just like we did before. Breathing into the hands. Feel the air going into the palms of your hands, filling up the belly. And then releasing. Twice more. Once more. And then just release your hands, let them rest on your thighs. Maybe switch the crossing of the legs, changing which ankle's in front. And then we'll add everything we just did together. Just leaving your hands on your lap. You can bring the palms to face up for receiving or down for grounding, whatever you think you need today. And then as you inhale, fill up the belly. Allow it to travel into the lungs, the ribs, the heart, all the way into the head. And then you release the way you came, from the head, then the heart, then the belly, or then the lungs, and then the belly. So breathe like that 3 more rounds on your own. So I won't count for you, just let your breath guide you. Filling up from bottom to top and emptying from top to bottom, like a glass of water. And whenever you're finished with your 3 rounds, just release any control over the breath. Allow it to be natural. Allow the body to once again breathe itself. Maybe you have a slight smile. And then beginning to activate your Ujjayi breath, if it feels right for you. This is an audible inhale and exhale through the nose with a slight restriction in the back of your throat. So it's as if you were to fog up a mirror, but with your mouth closed, that same sensation. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling with that restriction in the back of your throat. This breath seals the energy within the body. This breath is heat building, and we can use this throughout the practice in any pose at all. So if you find the mind wandering throughout this practice today, just remember to return to this breath. On your next inhale, sweep both arms up and over the head. Take up space and take your time bringing the arms up. Feel the torso lengthening a little bit more. And then stopping with the hands over the shoulders. Pull the shoulders together down your back as you reach the fingertips higher, feeling more length in the arms. And then shrug these shoulders up to the ears, finding more length of the side bodies. And then find that middle ground, find that medium, just not thinking too much about the shoulders, just letting them relax. Tuck your ribs back under, feel more length in the spine. And then start to roll out the wrists, go in both directions, wiggle out the fingers, let this be fluid. And then next time you exhale, drop your right arm down beside your hip and bend over to the right, stretching out left side of the body. And just staying rooted in this left sit bone. Find more length as you inhale, bend deeper as you exhale. Maybe bringing your forearm to the mat, if that's available. And keeping that length, so not losing length by crunching into the forearm. Maybe pushing into the right hand. Feeling how that adds more length to the right side of the body. And then bring your left hand, behind the head and look up at your elbow. Inhale. Exhale, crunch down. Bring your left elbow to your right knee. Move slowly here. Inhale, reach back up. Look up at the elbow. Exhale, crunch down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Let's do one more round. And go at your own pace. And then inhale, come back up, re-extend your left arm. And then release back to center. Inhale, both arms reach out. Exhale, left arm down, bend to the left, stretching out right side of the body. Getting some kinks out. And again, maybe coming onto that forearm, but maybe rather pushing into your left hand, seeing how that finds more space in your left waist as well. Letting a goal of this to be keeping your spine long the whole time. So yes, we want to bend to and reach to the left, but we also want to keep that length. So we want to reach up first and then over. And then next inhale, bring your right hand behind your head as you look up at the elbow. And exhale, crunch down, right elbow to left knee. Inhale, reach up, look up at your right elbow. Exhale, fold. And just do this twice more at your own pace with your own breath. And maybe your elbow doesn't touch the knee, that's totally fine. There's a funky stretch. You get into this really nice part of your low back, the sides of your low back. Just enjoying this. And then when you're finished, you can re-extend, stretch out the right side of the body a little bit deeper. And then release back to center. Let the arms rest by your side. Let the body settle, just feeling the sides of your body. And then just release your right ear to your right shoulder. Bring your right hand on top of the head or on top of the left ear, adding a little bit of weight, not pulling it, just adding weight. And then reach your left fingertips down and away. Feel this whole space you're creating from your left fingertips through the arm, the shoulder, the neck, the ear. Big exhales, release a little deeper. And then bring your right hand now to your right ear and gently push your head back to center. Not using the muscles that we just released. Release your right hand. Just observe the difference in the neck. And then next exhale, let your left ear come to your left shoulder. And bringing the left hand on top of the right ear, adding a little bit of weight. And then reaching right fingertips down and away. Doing the same neck stretch on the other side. And you can notice right away if there's a big difference in the sides of the body. Just feel that space you're making from your right fingertips through the arm, the shoulder, the neck, the ear, maybe even into the skull a bit. Exhaling to release a little bit deeper. And then just bring your left hand to your left ear and gently guide your head back to center. Letting it rest in the center and observing any difference. And then as you exhale, let your chin fall toward your chest and let's stretch out the back of the neck. So you might feel this plenty right here. But be sure to keep your spine straight. So you might feel a tendency to hunch in the shoulders or to curl at the spine in some way. And just make sure you're keeping the spine straight. You're just bending at the neck. If you want to come a little bit deeper, you can interlace the hands, bring them behind the head, and just allow them to rest here. Just let the elbows dangle. And maybe you gently shake your head no from side to side. If that immediately feels awful, then just please don't do that. But if that feels pretty good, then move slowly. Definitely don't do this quickly. Whenever we're doing anything with the neck, do it slowly, slower than you even think is slow. Our necks do so much for us, holding up our head all day long. And then just bring your chin back to center if it's not there. And now add a curl into your spine. So do this from starting at your pelvic floor. So feel your pelvic floor pull in and up, kind of like you're holding your pee or something. Like you're pulling it up toward the navel, getting a really nice curl in the lower back. Curl your heart back, broaden your shoulder blades, and feel this rainbow shape you're getting in the spine. Breathe into wherever you're feeling this. This might be really intense in your low back, maybe your middle or upper back. Breathe into it. And then next, inhale, straighten out the spine. Start to push your head into your hands. Open your elbows out to the side. Open the heart. Feel the shoulder blades come together down your back. Lift the tip of your chin away from the sternum. Expanding across the heart. A few breaths here. And then exhale, curl back down to where we just were, this rainbow shape. And then inhale, straighten and expand. Let's do that once more. You can move at your own pace. Exhale to curl. And inhale to open. And then next time you're open, you can expand in the arms. So it's the same posture, just the arms are open out to the side. So the backs of your hands are coming closer together. Shoulder blades come together down your back. Pull your belly in so you don't arch too much in the low back. Let this be concentrated on the upper back. Breathing a little bit longer here. And then exhale, bring your arms together in front of you. Interlace the hands and pull the fists away from your heart. So your back of your heart, the space between the shoulder blades, and your fists are pulling in opposite directions. And then inhale, open up the arms to where we were before. You got these nice wings. Open the heart, backs of the hands coming toward each other. And then exhale, curl. Let's do once more at your own pace. And then inhale, open back up. Exhale, release to center. Just let the hands rest on the thighs and pause, observe once again. And then as you're ready, you can roll over your ankles and come into your tabletop position. So landing in your tabletop with your shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. Feel yourself actively pushing into the floor at the base of the thumb, base of the pointers, base of the pinkies, and then in the tops of the feet and the shins. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone, pull the shoulder blades together and down your back, micro bend in the elbows as you pull the heart forward and through. Exhale to your cat pose, pull the navel to the spine, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, lift the back of the heart, push the ground away. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. Exhale back. So just move through these at your own pace with your own breath. You can wag the tail, take a peek back toward either hip. You can circle out the shoulders, the hips. Maybe let your hips fall toward either side. That can feel really nice. Whatever feels good here. Just take this time to explore. And always throughout the practice, an option to close the eyes, to just really tune in to what feels good. Don't worry at all about what anything looks like, ever. Just let yourself feel what's happening. Let your body guide you. Body's our best teacher. And then find your way back to a neutral tabletop whenever you're ready. No rush. If you want to keep going, you can always pause the video and keep doing your thing. If you're ready, you can come back to your table. And we'll just exhale and sit the hips back into a child's pose. And just letting the hips be heavy, letting the forehead reach into the mat. But don't surrender too much here. We're going to let this be a little bit more active. You'll see in a minute. So actively push into the ground with the hands. And leaving the hands where they are, feel like you could drag the floor toward your knees and bring yourself back up to tabletop. Inhale, drop the belly to your cow pose, lift the gaze. Exhale, sit back, child's pose. We're going to move like this. Inhale, come forward. Inhale to cow. Exhale, back, child's pose. Inhale, pull yourself forward all the way to cow pose. And exhale, sit all the way back, child's pose. Let's do twice more at your own pace with your breath. Heating in child's pose when you're done. Resting here for just a moment. And then start to activate your child's pose again, pushing into the hands so much that the arms lift off the mat. Lift your hips slightly off the heels so that you can tuck your toes under. And then just start to walk your hands back toward your seat. We're going to come into a toes pose. This might not feel possible, or it might feel really intense, but try to get every single one of your toes to be firm on the mat, and you're going to sit on your heels. So we're really opening up the backs of the feet. If you wear heels a lot, you should do this every night. And this is one of those things where if it's your first time doing this, it's going to be very painful, most likely. But if you do this for as long as you can stand every day, before you know it, your feet will open up. If you have any sort of foot pain, this is really, really helpful. So focus on pulling up. You don't want to just sit all your weight here. You want to pull up through the core, through the crown of the head, and breathe into the backs of the feet. If this ever at any point, if maybe already, becomes too much, then just come out of this. But stay for as long as you can stand. Deepen the breath. The more it becomes intense, that's your cue to just deepen the breath. Your body's strong. You can do this. 2 more exhales. Okay, and then come forward, release, point the toes, bring the tops of the feet to the ground. Now sit back on the heels. And maybe you bring the hands back behind you, lift the knees slightly to ankle pose. Can't really see that. So your feet are like this. That's another pretty intense one, but you know what your options are. Or this might even feel like enough. Maybe just bringing your fists back to the tops of the feet, giving yourself a little massage. All right, and then when you're ready, you can bring your hands forward, tuck your toes back under, lift your hips back and up, down, and facing dog. And pedal out the feet here, put a generous bend in alternate legs, stretching out the opposite hamstring. Focus on lifting your seat as high as you possibly can, pulling the navel into the spine, finding more space in the low back. The pointers are facing toward the front of your mat, and your hands are shoulder width distance. So you can look forward and just really, you can see. The pointer is facing directly forward, pinky slightly out. And same thing, rooting into the base of the pointers, the base of the thumbs, the pinkies, tips of the fingers, heels of the hands. Take 3 big exhales here. Focus on getting your spine as long as possible. Maybe the knees stay bent. And then from here, bend your knees, look up to the top of your mat, and start to walk your feet to meet your hands. When you arrive, inhale to your halfway lift. The hands can come to the shins. Feel the space between your navel and sternum lengthening. And exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees so that your belly can rest on the thighs. Maybe you hug the legs. Maybe you grab opposite elbows. And just let them hang out on the floor. Wherever you are is perfect. Focus on, even when the knees are bent, focus on lifting your hips higher. And your feet should be about 2 fists in between the feet. That's about hips width distance for most people. But if for some reason, this goes for any posture, if for some reason it feels a lot better for your feet or your alignment to be something other than what I'm suggesting, trust your body first. My alignment cues are suggestions on what works for me or what I know has worked for people, what I've been taught before. But everyone's body is incredibly different, so please just listen to yourself. Release the forehead, release your jaw, let yourself hang out here for a few more moments. Maybe shifting your weight forward and back and then finding that middle ground. 2 more exhales. And then very slowly, as you're ready, 1 vertebrae at a time, roll your body up to stand. Letting the head and shoulders be last to roll up. Palms come to face out at the top in your mountain pose. Allow the blood to settle. We're not going to do too much movement today. I want this to be more of a deeper stretch, calming class. But I do want to move through a few sun salutations just to get anything out of you. So as you're ready, you can inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Plant your hands down, step back to a plank position. Always option to bring the knees down here. If you cannot hold plank, no need to. If you want to, then go ahead. And then next exhale, slowly bend the elbows alongside the ribs, keeping them glued tight to the ribs. Feel the resistance from the floor as you lower yourself in one piece down to your mat, onto the belly. Inhale, lift your heart, baby cobra. Shoulder blades come together down the back. Hands should be able to lift here. Pubic bone roots into the mat, tops of the toes root into the mat. Exhale, release. Keeping the elbows close to the ribs again. Push the ground away from you. Come up through your tabletop, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. And then bend the knees, look up and step up to your halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll move through that same exact thing again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. Plant the hands down, step back, 1, 2 to a plank position. Lower the knees if needed, and then lower the torso in one piece down to the mat. Inhale, lift the heart, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, push yourself up through a tabletop. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, down dog. 2 breaths. And bend the knees, look up and step up. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Move through that again. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And release. Plant the hands, step back, plank position. If you have chaturanga in your practice and up dog, go ahead and do that. And if not, just do what we did before. Lower all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, push yourself up through table. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. 2 breaths. Bend the knees, look up and step up. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Move with your own breath, move at your own pace. I won't do any cueing for this, so if you get lost, you can just look at the screen or come to whatever is comfortable for you. We'll meet back in mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. Inhale. We'll meet with hands at heart center in your mountain pose. Whenever you're finished with your sun salutation, just observe. Observe the energy running through the body. Sun salutations are a great way to get rid of any stagnant energy. Just get things moving. So whenever you're ready, let's just leave your left foot where it is and step your right foot back into a warrior 2 position. And keep your front knee over your front ankle, extend the arms out to the side, from the chest, from the heart. And then slowly straighten out your front leg. Bring your toes to both face your right, so your feet are parallel to each other. Bring your hands to your hips as you inhale, lift your heart toward the ceiling. And exhale, hinge at your hips, wide-legged forward fold. You can keep the hands here if this feels nice. You can bring them to the floor. Or maybe you're up here, maybe bring into blocks or something. Wherever you are, just find some comfort. Find your breath. Keep a micro bend in the knees just so you don't hyperextend the legs. And breathe. Same thing as in a regular forward fold, just letting the face relax, letting the torso be sort of like a rag doll here. Shifting the weight forward and back on your feet, and then finding that middle ground. A few more breaths here. Taking one final exhale. And then slowly begin to walk the hands up the legs, if that works for you, and just gently bring yourself up to stand. Pause at the top, don't move too quickly. Maybe you bring a hand to the belly, a hand to the heart. And then from here, when you're ready, just turn your right foot now to face the back of your mat and come into a warrior two, facing the back of the mat on the other side. A brief warrior two, just feeling that expansion of the heart, feeling that strength in the legs, lifting the toes, feeling the strength of the feet. And then slowly begin to straighten out your front leg. Turn your toes now to face the corners of your mat. So your toes are out, your heels are in. Hands can come to heart center as you put a bend in the knees, sink the hips down, tuck the belly in, and keep your knees pulling back so they stay over the ankles. You might need to adjust your stance so that when you bend the knees, it should be 90-degree angles just about. You can bring your hands to rest on the thighs to make this a little bit less intense. If you want to make this more intense, bring your hands to heart center. There's a lot of expressions you can take with the arms. You can cactus the arms, you can reach them high. Those are a few. Wherever you are, just breathing, feeling the backs of the knees pulling toward the back of the room, or behind you. Feel the heart proud, tailbone sinking down, crown of the head reaching straight up. Feel the wobbliness. And then bring your hands to the thighs if they're not there already. The fingertips can be facing down if that feels okay. Exhale, drop your right shoulder down, look over the left. And then inhale to center. Exhale, drop left shoulder down, look over the right. Inhale, center. And just do that a few times on your own. And then whenever you feel ready, you can come back to center, slowly straighten out the legs. Bring the feet parallel to each other once again. Hands come back to the hips. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, hinge forward, wide leg forward fold once again. Maybe you naturally fall a little bit deeper this time, or maybe not. No worries. Just notice. Make sure you're keeping that bend in the knees and hinging at the hips. Feeling the backs of your inner thighs being targeted. And even with the knees bent, imagine a string at your tailbone, lifting that higher. Breathing. Maybe you walk the hands underneath the legs, the palms of the hands on the ground, fingertips facing away from you.
Let's take 5 more breaths here. And very slowly, begin to walk the hands up the legs. Bring yourself back up to stand. Pause for a moment. Let the blood settle. And as you're ready, you can pivot back to face the front of your mat. Step your back foot up or your right foot up to meet your left. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Exhale, fall all the way back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, once more, all the way back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fall. Plant the hands. Step right back to a down dog. We won't be here for long. And then just allow your knees to find the mat. Untuck the toes, sit the hips on the heels, child's pose. Let yourself settle here. Arms can be reaching forward long on the mat. If you want more length, it can be stacked under their forehead for a little extra height, for a little pillow. Or they can be reaching back behind you with the tops of the hands on the ground for passive shoulders. Knees can be together, toes can be together, focusing more on the spine. Or the toes can be together and the knees can be as wide as your mat, focusing more on the hips. Just knowing your options, knowing where your body's at and what feels natural for you to focus on today. And then finding some softness, letting the jaw release, letting the forehead relax even more. Surrendering any holding in the hips, in the spine. And letting the breath be slow and steady. Maybe gently shaking the head no, side to side, massaging the forehead. And then when you feel ready, no rush, you're welcome to stay as long as you'd like. When you're ready, you can slowly start to make your way up to a seat on your ankles. Shift your weight to either side of the feet and bring them out long in front of you. Scoot yourself to the center of your mat if you're a bit off. The legs stretched out long in front of you. Maybe you grab the flesh of the sit bones and just pull it back a bit. So you feel the bones rooting down. And you can fall forward into a forward fold. So your knees can be bent here. You can really bend them quite a bit if you'd like to make this really passive. But you can also support yourself. So if you don't find that if you're sitting back like this and you don't find you naturally hinge or can fold forward, sit on a generous pillow or on blocks, or just give yourself some height so that gravity can do its job. Wherever you are, exactly where you should be.
So just letting everything release, releasing all the muscles in the legs and the spine, and the hands and the face and the feet. And count 5 of your breaths. And slowly begin to bring yourself back up to center. Bend the knees and grab the backs of the thighs, and we'll slowly start to lay down on our backs. Walking the hands down the thighs, bringing yourself down. Ooh, bring the feet as wide as your mat when you arrive, and let's just windshield wiper the knees back and forth a few times here. Just moving slowly. Paying close attention to the glutes being massaged by this movement. Arms can rest wherever they're comfortable. And then let the knees come back to center as you're ready. Hug the knees into the chest and slowly rock side to side here. Massaging your low back and your organs against the mat. And permission to linger wherever it feels good if you hit any sweet spots. And then from here, just keep your right knee hugged into the chest as you extend your left leg long on the mat. Start to bring your right knee closer to your right armpit, and then bring the sole of your right foot up toward the ceiling, right over that knee. You can stay here if this feels good, if you're feeling this well, or if you'd like to come a little deeper, you can grab the big toes with your peace fingers or grab the outside edge of your foot, coming into this half happy baby posture or a reverse lizard pose. Getting deep into this right hip. Then plugging your shoulder back into place, bringing it back on the ground, feeling how that deepens the stretch even more. And placing your left hand on your left hip, just making sure this hip stays on the mat. Letting yourself be wherever is your natural stopping point. Trusting that. Nothing about yoga is a competition. All a journey. Once you accept your starting point, that's when progress can be made. So accepting wherever you are today, knowing it's going to change. Some days we are much more flexible than we were the day before, and vice versa. Sometimes we have flexible days or feel-good days, and the following day we're very tight. And it's part of the flow, it's part of the journey. Just trust where you are in the moment. Maybe you start to straighten out your right leg slightly. Maybe that feels okay. Maybe that feels awful, and don't do that in that case. Giving some options. And then just release your foot or your leg, whatever you are holding. Grab the outside of your right knee with your left hand, and exhale as you bring it across your body to a reclined supine twist. You can turn your gaze to look over your left fingertips, outstretching your left arm in line with the shoulder. Feeling this wringing out of the spine. And gently guiding the knee back to center when you're ready. Then hug your left knee into the chest, extend your right leg long on the mat. Start to bring your left knee toward the left shoulder or armpits, however you want to think about it. And then start to bring your sole of your left foot to point up toward the ceiling, coming into that half happy baby or lizard pose on the other side. Same thing, grabbing whatever's available. You can just stay holding on to the thigh here. You can hold on to the calf, the ankle, the foot, or the toes. None of them is better or worse than the other. Still, it's all the same stretch. The right hand can rest on the right hip, adding a little bit more weight, keeping that on the floor. And then plugging your left shoulder, back into place. Breathing into your left hip crease. And listening to your breath. Listening to the music if you have the music playing. Staying present in this moment with yourself. Maybe slowly straightening out that leg if you did that on the other side. And then you can gently release your grip and grab hold of your left knee, the outside of the left knee with your right hand. And exhale as you bring it across the body. Gaze looking over the left shoulder now. Feeling this deep twist from your navel. When you feel ready, you can guide that knee back to center, hug both knees into the chest. Maybe you rock a few times, maybe you circle out the knees, whatever you need to do here. And whenever you're ready, you can reach the legs up toward the ceiling, reach the arms up to the ceiling too. Just letting the torso settle against your mat, shoulders and hips hinge down. Hands and feet getting their well-deserved break. Nice change in blood flow. Releasing every sense of holding from the legs and from the arms, just letting them rest almost as if they're wading in water. Letting them feel a bit detached from the body, from the torso rather. Allowing them to grow a little bit warm, maybe a little tingly with this change in blood flow, just for a few more moments. And whenever you feel ready, you can bend both knees and come into your full happy baby. Grabbing whatever's available, the ankles, shins, feet, toes, thighs. Just opening up both hips now to the ceiling. Maybe taking turns, straightening each leg, or maybe straightening both. Permission to play, channel your inner happy baby here. And whenever you feel ready, you can let the soles of your feet find each other, slowly lower them to find the mat, knees falling off to the sides. You can roll the sit bones back. You can roll the shoulder blades under the spine, palms facing up by your side. Reclined bound ankle pose. Let yourself rest. Let yourself settle. You may stay in this position as long as you'd like, or if you'd rather straighten out your legs coming into your final Shavasana, you may do so. Letting the feet fall wherever they naturally fall. Letting the back of the head be heavy into your mat. Shoulder blades rooting into the mat. Allowing yourself to be supported. Releasing any need to hold anything up. And just letting yourself melt here. Every moment, your body is melting a little bit closer into the mat. Just let yourself rest here for about a minute or so. Letting the forehead, the eyelids, and the jaw all soften. The body continues to soften, and you continue to feel this pulsing and healing sensation swimming throughout the body. Allowing the work we just did, allowing this practice to settle, to solidify within your body, and to heal you. Letting yourself rest. If you would like to rest here longer, you're more than welcome to do so. Simply pause the video or close your computer and let yourself be. If you feel ready to come out of this, you can allow me to guide you. Just noticing your breath. And then consciously calling air back into the body, filling yourself up from the toes all the way to the tip of your head with each inhale. Energizing the body a little bit more with each breath. Start to wiggle the fingers, the toes, maybe circle out the ankles and the wrists. And rock your head side to side. And maybe reaching your arms up overhead to take a nice morning stretch. Maybe letting out a nice big yawn. And then when you're ready, you can bring the knees toward the chest and just find yourself in a fetal position on one side. Letting your eyes stay closed for now. Just gently, you can push your top hand into the ground. Make your way back up to your seat. Let's meet with hands at heart center when you arrive. Fully, deeply thank yourself for your practice. Thank yourself for taking the time out of your life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. May this act continue to carry you throughout the rest of your day, continue to heal you into a wonderful night's sleep. May you bring some of this love and light to everyone you cross paths with. Namaste.